So, before going ahead, just one very important thing. Today, it's not going to be just a class, that's going to be a kind of decoding, right? Decoding of our minds, decoding of our emotions, decoding of the patterns, our belief systems, hidden systems that run your entire life. Okay, so this session, this is basically going to be the first touch point with the science that has changed the way a human being should think and is thinking now. The way the things are to be taught to you, and the way thousands of the learners till now, they have used NLP and they have benefited it to a greater extent. So by the end of this orientation session, you will understand one thing with very clarity, that the mind is programmable. Our human mind is programmable, and why it is not doing so that programming now, because we have never been taught that code. So welcome, and let's begin our session for today. Centuries before, if I talk about the time, centuries ago, their psychology existed. Even before laboratories were there, even before textbooks were there, humans were already curious about mystery. Why do I think in a particular way, or why do I feel what I am feeling? Why I am getting the outcomes that I am getting? Human beings were already thinking about all these things. No certificate, no degree, just human beings trying to understand the working of their consciousness. Okay, so across continents, if I or across the globe, if we discuss, people were observing something fascinating. What was that thing? We are not living the life, we are living the interpretation of life. I again repeat, there was an interpretation of life that we are living, or nowadays also we are not living our lives, but what we are living is, we are living the interpretations of our life. Two people, they go through the same event. Let's assume there are two people, right? A and B are two people. They go through the same event. One grows and one breaks. Same people, same situation. One is growing and other one is breaking. Why? Because the internal code is basically different. The difference lies in just one thing, which is called the internal code. And centuries ago, humanity was already trying to decode that code. That what is that internal code by virtue of which one person is growing in a situation and the other person is breaking in the situation. Now, if I talk about the ancient yogis of India, or even the philosophers of Greece, the mystics of Egypt, they basically all asked one universal question. What was that one universal question? Not what is life. They did not ask what is life. Neither they asked what is destiny. But they asked one simple question. That simple question was, why do human beings suffer even when they know what to do? I'm talking about the ancient times basically. So they asked this simple question, that why do humans suffer even when they know what to do? They know that, what is the reason of my struggle, and still what is the biggest struggle of my life. They are already knowing that, but you should know that you should be confident. Let's take real situations. You know that you should be confident, but what shows up first? That is anxiety. I am going to face a situation, I am prepared, I am confident, but before my confidence level, what is going to show up? That is anxiety. I'll get anxiety before facing any situation. What? Okay, one more example I'm just giving you. You know that you must stop procrastinating the things. Procrastinating means not today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, not now. You know that you must stop procrastinating. but you are enjoying procrastinating, that is giving you the sense of satisfaction. That is why you are lingering on the things, not today in the evening, not evening tomorrow or day after tomorrow, right? Lastly, you know that you know what you deserve, or deep inside me, if I talk about myself as a human being, I know that I deserve better. But you settle for what you have. What we do generally, I deserve better, I have this aim, I have this capability, I have this skill, I can reach there. But what we end up settling down to something that we say, okay, that's fine, right? So now what is this gap? Confidence, anxiety, procrastinating, feeling of appeasement. I deserve better, but I am settling down for what I have. Now, this gap between what you know and what you should do, this is called unconscious programming. I'll write here for all those who are making notes and everything. This is called unconscious programming. Okay, so these are just insights today that what kind of journey we will be, together going ahead in the next 24 days. Okay, so this gap between what you know and what you do. See, I know that I have to go there. I have the capacity of doing that. I want to do that thing in my life, but I am settling down for something else. This is called unconscious programming. Now, what began from that question of the oldest science known to the mankind, the science of how the mind thinks, how the mind feels, and how it programs itself. No degrees, no MRI machines were there, but it was just a raw observation, right? Now, see, NLP, emotional intelligence, neuroscience, psychology, these are all the modern day labels that we have given to that ancient wisdom that already started centuries ago. People were living their lives according to the neuro-linguistic programming, which in modern days we have given this terminology. Back, if I talk about that time, there were no such fancy labels. No degrees were there, no MRI machines were there to just understand what is the process of thinking of the brain, how neurons are working, but still people were living that ancient wisdom. So therefore, what you are beginning today, that's not going to be a training, it's not going to be any kind of motivation, it is also not going to be any kind of self-help. During this journey of 24 days, I will not be giving you any fancy things, any magic wand things, something like that. We would be returning to that forgotten science, that's it. So usually once you enroll in different programs, so you usually have a perception that I would be learning something, but the journey that you are going to have with me, that would be basically unlearning something. Already what you have in your mind, you are just going to unlearn that, and that's going to be as simple as easy. We would be returning to that forgotten science, which we call as our ancient science also, and this is the actual inner engineering. Now you might have heard about this term also, inner engineering, right? So returning to that forgotten wisdom is what actually known as the inner engineering, right? So that is going to be our journey for the next 24 days, next 24 sessions, not 24 days, so I correct myself. Now, see, one very practical thing, our human body, it can survive for days without food. If I don't eat food for one day, I will not die. If I don't eat food for 2 days, I will have slight difficulty, but I will not die. But if we talk about the human mind, it cannot live a single hour without input. This is a fact. Our body can live for 24 hours, 48 hours, or even longer, right? Without food. There would be uneasiness in the body, but still I would be surviving. But what about mind? It cannot go 1 hour without input. Now, what is the input that our mind constantly takes? Right now, you are attending the session. Some may be thinking, that okay, today I'll get free at 8:30, I have so things to do. Somebody might be thinking, okay, 8:30 my kids are coming from that class. Somebody might be thinking, okay, it's orientation, next session would be the topic one, so let's not make the notes. What is this? Everything that you are thinking right now, that is the input. Your thoughts, what kind of inputs are there? Basically, your thoughts are your input, your emotions are your input. You are listening to me, you are physically present here, but back of the mind, whatever things are going on tomorrow, okay, I'm leaving for a trip, so jaldi session khatam ho, basically. This kind of things are also for some people. So what are these? All the thoughts, all the emotions, all the subconscious conversations. This is the environment of human brain, and we are feeding our brain 24/7 with all these kinds of inputs without a break. So that is why now, this is the logic. You might have heard so many people, or I assume that you yourself have heard about, meditating, meditation and everything. Why do we need to meditate? Did you ask ever yourself, why do we need to meditate? Why do I need to sit in silence, close the eyes, or listen to some music, focus on something? Why? The reason is this only. This is the science behind that. So, therefore, in this journey of 2 months of NLP, it is not going to be again theoretical. That's going to be all the logics would be backed by science. You will truly understand that you listen about, or you hear about visualization, you hear about affirmations, you hear about body language alignment, you hear about language words aligned with the mind. Why? This course is going to give you the answers of why. So now I was telling you, why do I need to meditate? This is the reason behind it. Because human mind is constantly feeding. Now let's assume, all of you present in the session, assume I give you food and I say for the next 2 hours, let's not take 24 hours, 2 hours, you need to constantly eat without stopping. Will you be able to do that? Nobody would be able to do that. Okay, even the most foodie person or most food loving person won't be able to do that. This is the same reason we are filling our mind with the thoughts, emotions, conversations going on, stress going on, future plans going on. He did wrong to me, she did wrong to me, she broke my heart, he broke my heart, or whatever we are feeding to our brain. This is constant food. So next time, whenever you are overthinking about something, and whenever you feel, that since morning I'm just thinking, just pause and remember this one statement. I am feeding food to my brain constantly for the past 4 days, 1 day, 4 hours, 5 hours. If my same body is there, it needs to digest that food. Will I be able to do that? The answer is no. Immediately you will feel that you will pause those thoughts. Do this consciously, and once you do, this will become your habit of doing that unconsciously also. Right? So every word you hear is a kind of nutrition to your brain. Every word you hear, every emotion that you have stored in your mind, maybe positive, maybe sad emotion, happy emotion, be it any kind of emotion that you have stored in your brain, it is nurturing, it's acting as a nutrition for your brain. So every emotion is a kind of fuel. Every conversation, every argument even that you have, this is shifting the chemistry of the brain. Even I tell you, how many of you watch Instagram reels? This is something part of our routine. We cannot live without it, I think, nowadays, right? So sometimes our thumb says us, "Bhai, now I am tired, please stop it." So likewise, even not only conversations, arguments or anything, every Instagram, social media reel that you watch, this is going to shift the chemistry of your brain, right? Now I give you one example. Think of your day. One person who spoke rudely to you. A person who spoke rudely to you and it spoiled your mood. Just think about this situation. Any situation, maybe a day ago, maybe a week ago, maybe a month ago, any person whose rude behavior or rude sentence spoiled your mood? Is there somebody who did not even experience this situation? I think nobody. Okay, so Sheetal, tell me now, what was that particular thing, if that's comfortable to discuss, and for how long it spoiled your mood?
Just before this class.
So what was that? It's very recent then.
Yeah, I was just talking with my mother, and we had nothing. I mean, she was trying to, she was trying to warn me of something, that
Okay.
you shouldn't share your experiences with certain person. That might, that person is not trustworthy and all that. So I told her, you always talk out of fear. She's always very protective
Okay.
all the time. So that's why I just told that don't be so much protective. Like, it is from fear. So,
All right. So Sheetal's situation is that no, I won't say rude behavior, but a kind of protective gesture from the mother, but appeared to be little rude to Sheetal. So it's almost 1 hour. We can assume from 1 hour it is changing the inner mechanism of you, right? Okay.
yes.
Yes, Jaya. Have you ever felt the same? Unmute first. Yes. You will see a small yeah.
Yeah, I am muted.
Yeah.
It was a few years ago. One of my clients' parents, she told me that I was when I was correcting her to how to behave in the clinic, something like it's a professional ethics to her to quiet the calm and don't disturb. That time she told me that I was too rude, and she told me that I am a negative person. So she doesn't want to put her kid in the negative vibration like me, and she just threw that kid from the clinic. And it was 2-3 days I was taking back. Her husband called me after that, and he also told some.
Okay.
2-3 days
So
I was.
almost see, one behavior of her almost affected you for 3 days. 3 days
Yes.
seem to be very simple, but what if I say 3 multiplied by 24? How much it comes to? 72
72.
hours. And if I multiply 72 hours with minutes, 72 multiply by 60, you do the calculation yourself. How many precious minutes of your life were affected by the outer behavior of that person, right? So my point here asking you all these things was not, to make you recall certain bad experience, but I wanted to make you realize mind eats everything you feed. Mind is not that kind of choosy person that, okay, I like eating this, I don't eat brinjal, I don't eat pumpkin, I like this, I like that. No. Whatever you feed to the human mind, your mind basically, it is going to eat everything. It is going to digest everything. Now it depends that how long it takes to digest the things. Now, just like food, I gave you the example of food in context with mind. So just like food, whatever mental inputs you are giving to your brain, not all the food is nutritious, not all the food is nourishing. Some corrupts also, some is bad for you also. It may give you certain diseases also, it may give you certain uneasiness also. So similarly, same happens with the human brain also. Some thoughts, they are going to make you powerful, some thoughts, they are going to paralyze you, and this paralysis is not only for hours or let's suppose few days or something like that. In maximum cases, we will be going much deep into all those traumas and traumatic experiences and everything. So some kind of inputs that you have given to your brain, it is going to paralyze the human mind for years. For years it is going to affect you. You even don't know that why you are facing this particular kind of experience, but once you now break it into using different NLP tools that we will be covering in the coming sessions also, you will realize that mental nutrition discipline is what the key to live a happy life. You become the victim of your own internal coding. See, life can never be smooth for every person. I always say to everybody, life can never be like this. Life can never be a straight line. Even the ECG line, when it is straight, only in one scenario, once the person is dead. Once the person is dead, this line is going to be straight. Until you are alive, what is the kind of this medical ECG and everything that you see, it is always and always zigzag. Agree? It's always going to be zigzag. So therefore, this is the same context with life also. Life is always a roller coaster ride, but how I am taking or how I am countering or responding to a situation, that is the key to live a happy life, or to live a life full of chaos, full of arguments, full of sadness, full of stress, name it, anything. The negativity is endless, but only the positive outcome is I am happy. I'm happily living my life, and happiness has different parameters for different person. So therefore, in this course, you are going to learn about the country's first tri-fusion model. Now, this is the reason that why this course is different. Here, you will not alone study about NLP only. You will be studying, we have fused it or we have clubbed it together with emotional intelligence as well as with neuroscience. So therefore, this tri-fusion model is what helps you understand. You will be understanding your brain, that's totally fine. But the important thing is you would be able to rewire your brain. And once you know to consciously rewire your brain, you will see the real changes happening around you. So this is what we are going to do ahead. And before moving ahead, so familiar people already know me, but it's important for the new faces to know me first well. So by training or by basis, I am an engineer and then went to IIM. Until now, I am looking after the memory segment, this NLP, psychology, neuroscience segment of StudyKosh, and I have crossed 10,000 mark in the beginning of this year only. So by passion, you can say me, I am a researcher of memory, cognition, behavior. What basically unites different categories of people, I tell you one very important thing of my observation that would be helpful for you. See, when I was training the IT people as well as the medical staff as well as corporate professionals, and even I have trained under 14 cricket team players also of North India. So what was common between them? The common thing, the single need was common. Now see, IT professional, an exhaust person taking 9 to 5 or 9 to 8, 9 to 7 job, somebody who is into sports, full of energy, somebody who is a kind of into any profession, you say there should be a difference, but there was one thing that united all of them. There was a single need basically for all the age groups that I observed in my trainings, that to understand the very instrument that decides their success. Everybody, be it an IT professional, be it somebody who is a nurse or in a hospital, or somebody who is planning to see himself or herself in the cricket team of India, one thing they all lacked, that was what is the base, what is the instrument that is going to decide their success, and that instrument is basically mind. It seems to be easy also, but it is one of the most difficult things to handle. You can handle your every body part very smoothly, very easily, I would say, also with dedication, with discipline, but to handle your mind is a hard nut to crack. And how we will crack this hard nut? By first of all unlearning the things that we have already kept in our mind. So my approach of basically training, it is not any kind of fancy label is there, nothing like that, but I combine the cognitive wisdom with the neuro-linguistic science, what we in modern times call as NLP. I basically merge together the ancient wisdom which was already known to us already known to human beings, right? So therefore that is why the learners in any of the different courses, maybe memory, maybe psychology or whatever, so they feel learning comfortable. I assume, Subhashri, you guys feel learning comfortable, so you enjoy the sessions also. So this is my approach towards learning, and this is what we will be going together ahead. Okay, now if I take you back, let's do a time travel back. Before psychology, before NLP, before science had the vocabulary words or these experiences, just think about the time before psychology, before NLP, before science even had, the vocabulary for these experiences. Every civilization created its own programming code. Every civilization created its own version of the programming in their mind. Maybe the early to early civilizations ever known to mankind, they had their own coding for the human mind. Different names were there, but what was the purpose? The purpose is going to be was the same, basically decode human behavior, rewire the internal patterns, and unlock the true potential of human beings. Back in those ages, they did not call it as NLP, they did not call it as neuro linguistic programming. Now this is the ancient wisdom that you are going to see. They called it as sankalpa in some of the ancient the different people, vipassana, dialogue, trance, as well as symbols. These are the Asian words on which our modern science is based. I repeat, sankalpa, vipassana, dialogue, trance, as well as symbols. All these you will find in the ancient books, ancient sculptures, but these are the basis of NLP. Neuro linguistic programming is not outside the boundaries of this, basically. Now let's decode them one by one. If I talk about the Vedic period, in the Vedic period, rishis used to chant certain mantras, certain sankalpas were there. Why they used to chant these things? The vibration of the sound was believed to reprogram the subconscious. I'm talking about particularly the Vedic period, when there was more of chanting of mantras, more sankalpas were there. So what was the vibration of the sound? It was believed that it is going to reprogram the subconscious. Okay, so today we call it as, nowadays in modern science, what do we call it? We call it as linguistic anchoring. Very, very important tool of NLP, linguistic anchoring. What is this? Nothing but more of the chanting of that kind of mantras. Don't worry, I will not give you any mantras to chant here, just giving you the context of that thing. So nowadays modern science calls it as the linguistic anchoring, which means we use the sound, we use the rhythm, we use the repetition to reprogram the subconscious. This is already an age-old method which is derived from which period? Vedic period of our country only. Now see, I give you one more context and simple example. You repeat, I will fail 100 times or 108 times. 108 times chanting is easy. Take the beads or the mala, chant, I will fail, I will fail, I will fail. Your brain is going to wire failure. Your brain is going to save that kind of failure in the brain. Now, do this experiment. I am not making you negative, but do this thing. See, once you know to consciously tackle the problems, तभी हम solution तक पहुंचेंगे. Then only we would be able to reach to the solution. After doing this, sit for 2 minutes, feel your inner body. Feel what is happening inside you. I will fail, I will fail, I will fail, I will fail. Now, repeat this thing, I will win, or I can do it. I can do it, I can do it. Repeat it same. If you can't do 108 times, 50 times would be more than enough, to make you realize the difference between the two. Your brain again wires what? Possibility. What is happening in both the situations? In situation number 1, I will fail. My brain is wiring failure in my brain. And when I am chanting, let's suppose I will win or I can do it, what my brain is, wiring possibility. See the difference. Just the small word, I will fail, I will win, or I can do it. I cannot do it, I can do it. Simple, not is only the difference, and it is going to change the wiring process of the brain. Okay, now after Vedic period, if I talk about the Buddhist, whenever meditation comes in mind, first thing that comes in mind is Buddhist people sitting in meditative state or something like that. Now the Buddhist monks, if I talk about, they practiced Vipassana. The Vipassana terminology is taken from Buddhist, right? So the Buddhist monks, when they practiced Vipassana, they observed their inner dialogue. How Vipassana is done basically, I am a person, but when I am observing inside of me, when I am observing myself, so I become two different persons. I am one, but I become two different persons when I am observing my inner dialogue. What I am feeling, what is my thought process, what are the impulses without any kind of judgment. So nowadays, what we call it, this is called the meta-awareness and dissociation method in NLP. What is the base of this NLP tool? Meta-awareness, dissociation. What is the meaning of this? When we step out of the emotions that control us. Emotions that are controlling my life, once I am going to step out of that. So what is this? This is basically called dissociation. Nowadays, modern science calls it as the meta-awareness and dissociation. What is the base of this? The base is Vipassana basically. From where it has come? It has come from the Buddhist psychology. Okay, so just giving you a context. Let's suppose, or till now if you have not noticed, just notice next time how the moment you observe your anger. Let's suppose I am fully angry, like Nirmal ji is having tea, not offering to anybody else. Let's suppose I am fully angry at this. Okay, so let's assume in one particular situation I am fully angry. जब भी आपको गुस्सा आए, whenever you are feeling angry, just observe your anger. Do this thing. This will help you. Not now. No point of getting angry during the session. Whenever naturally you get angry, once you start observing your anger, the intensity of your gussa, the intensity of your angerness, it drops by 20 to 30%. It drops by 20 to 30%. Am I teaching you something new? No. But all the things that are deeply covered, you are not seeing those things. This is what we will do in this journey. When next time, let's suppose at some situation or at some person, you are fully angry, fully frustrated. Be in that state, just observe yourself. The intensity of your frustration, the intensity of your anger, it will drop automatically by 20 to 30%. And what is this called? This is called dissociation. Given you the real example of dissociation. Okay. Now, let's also talk about Greek philosophy. Okay. It's very powerful when it comes to, NLP, visualization and everything. Socrates is a very famous Greek philosopher. He mastered a technique. What was that? Asking questions that destroyed illusions, that destroyed the wrong beliefs, that destroyed basically limiting beliefs or the distorted thinking. So Socrates mastered the art by asking the questions to break those limiting beliefs, to break those illusions, to break those broken beliefs. And this evolved basically into NLP's meta model of questioning. You might have heard about this tool also. We will be studying NLP's meta model of questioning, from where it is derived. It is not something discovered by science, or it is not something discovered by me or any other person. We have given it a label. But what is the base of this? What is the base? That is a powerful tool for the distorted thinking. From where it is derived? It is derived from the Greek philosophy. Now, this like evolved into the meta model of questioning. It is a tool basically. What is this? I give you an idea. We will be studying in depth in our sessions that what is meta model of questioning. If I say I am not good enough, we commonly say this thing. Now you may accept or you may not accept that no, I don't say this thing. So we usually say this thing that I am not that good enough or nothing works for me. You are working on a project, you are working in your office, nothing works for you. So what you say, nothing works for me. Actually, I don't have time. Very, very basic thing that you repeat 100 times, even more than a day. Somebody says you, okay, let's go there. I don't have time. Somebody says, okay, let's do that. I don't have time. Sunita ji, do you do this? If I am pronouncing your name right, is your name Sunita only? Yeah, and you can unmute. Yes.
So, yes, ma'am, I'm Sunita only.
Oh, you Sunita only, right? So do you say this thing? I don't have time now.
Yes.
We should accept. All of us say this thing. This is actually pinpointing randomly to anybody in the session is what my style of teaching. So that is why I keep the cameras turned on so that I can pinpoint and make more relatability to things. Okay. So whenever we use such kind of things, I'm not good enough, I cannot do it, I tried but I failed, I don't have time. What is this? This is kind of limiting belief. And the meta model of NLP, this works on these kind of limiting beliefs only, right? Okay, Mazar, yes. So okay, one more thing that I usually tell in the beginning. So I'm just telling now also, in my sessions, nobody is going to judge anybody. Whatever comes in your mind for the anything we are discussing, any topic we are discussing, if you want to give your inputs, if you want to say anything, if I ask you a question, maybe I ask you 2 plus 2 and you if 0 comes in your mind, if I ask you 2 plus 2, you say 7, 0, 10, 9, hardly makes any difference to me. So I encourage, the two-way interaction. The more we are going to interact, the more you will get the comfortability in understanding or asking the things and everything. Okay, now I am now today going to say something that may be controversial, but it is actual reality. Usually what happens, the greatest myth, you will hear from so many people that Richard Bandler, John Grinder, they are the inventors of NLP. They are the inventors of NLP, but it is a wrong statement. They basically decoded this wisdom into their own words. If you check also, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, was a term that was coined in 1950s. In 1950s, when this term was invented, this term was used in terms of computers. When NLP term was derived or coined in 1950s, it was used in terms of computers, IT line. But in 1970s, the same terminology was used in terms of brain, in terms of mind. So therefore, all the ancient wisdom that was already there, people were not, aware about that. So Richard Bandler, John Grinder, and so many elderly people who presently are no longer living in this world also, they basically tried to bring together that wisdom into a structured model, and that we nowadays learn and practice as neuro-linguistic programming. Okay. So this is the kind of thing that they worked on, this kind of hidden wisdom, and they brought together it into a structure which we call as neuro-linguistic programming. Now, if we talk about, the ancient time, for centuries, if I talk about, the mystics use these methods without any scientific vocabulary. All the mystics of our ancient times, thousands of years ago, they never knew this kind of scientific vocabulary, but they were using these methods. And today we have the vocabulary now, which we call as the science terminology, to whatever things that we are going to learn. This is called NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So I want to do NLP course, I want to practice NLP. First of all, you must know what is NLP, where did it come from, what is it, how will I make use of that in my life, right? So if let's suppose you can, a simple fact that it should always be kept in mind, if humans or any person can control the machines, design the apps, even make big softwares, big inventions we can do, why have not you learned to program your own emotions? Let's assume somebody is an engineer here, let's assume somebody is a great advocate or lawyer here. So you tackle the situation, you win the cases, you do different kinds of inventions. You are, let's suppose somebody is an engineer, electrical engineer is here. So let's suppose you do different kinds of projects, but why have not you learned to reprogram your mind and control your own emotions? Why have you not learned till now? Anybody who can answer?
Ma'am, because we were not taught to, how to process our emotions. Like, what should we do when certain things happen? Like, when all these emotions, all these positive, negative, whatever it is, it can be in any, what you can say, that amount or, that bandwidth, how to control or, navigate those emotions, through those emotions. So that was not taught to us.
Right. All right. Very practical answer. Or you can also revert in the chat box also if you want. Yes, Nirmalji, same question for you also. Why have not we you need to unmute first. Why have not you learned to program your own emotions?
So first of all, most of us, we don't have the access to do this one.
Okay.
Okay, and somewhere like in a systematic way or in a very dysfunctional way, we always do the reprogramming.
Right.
Like sometimes we practice some affirmations or any modalities.
Okay.
You can have the reprogramming, but that is not exactly effective.
Okay.
Because it is not a very structured or in a very systematic way.
Okay.
Okay, so it is more of like a failure only. Like there will be, you can see the results by 10%, 15% only.
So we can
But
say
when
it has temporary, it's kind of temporary thing that's happening.
Temporary.
Right. All right. So basically, what is the real answer to this? Because no one told you that it's possible. We don't know the structure, we are not able to do it properly. All of these questions or all of these scenarios, they have one base. What is that? If I today tell you that okay, I will be let's do this in the session only. All of you, tomorrow you will be able to climb a tree. I will be giving you exact things that how to climb a tree. Let's suppose any tall tree, I will be telling you how to climb a tree and you will be able to do that. Whether I tell you this thing, whether you are able to do, but inside there is one small possibility कि शायद I will be able to climb a tree. Simple as that. So therefore, whenever you are taught like this in no school, I would say, no college, no system is teaching this thing that our mind is programmable. Our mind limiting beliefs, we can unlimit them basically. So therefore, just because nobody told you that it is possible, you have kept so many limitations in your mind that okay, I don't know whether I will be able to do that. One example which I usually give in my all sessions, I give it to you also. Now see, all of you, I assume you are working. Tomorrow you need to reach to your office. Assume that tomorrow you need to reach to your office. All of you are working at your respective workplaces. Tomorrow there is very urgent client meeting. Tomorrow there is very urgent project presentation. Tomorrow there is very urgency that I must reach on time. What do we say normally? I will reach on time, touch wood, I don't stuck in traffic. I will reach on time and I will be even reaching 15 minutes earlier, but let's assume I don't stuck in traffic in Bandra or somewhere or whatever your native place is. Now see how mind is going to take this line. You are saying for the positive possibility कि मुझे ट्रैफिक ना मिले, मैं समय पर पहुंच जाऊंगा या जाऊंगी. I don't get stuck in traffic, I'll be on time. How the mind is going to take it? Is there any image you tell me, is there any image of not getting stuck in traffic? Is there any visual for that? Not getting stuck in traffic? Answer is no. Even if I say I don't get stuck in traffic, touch wood, I don't get stuck in traffic, what will my mind see? A road full of vehicles, red light is there, on the traffic signal is red. I see traffic all around. Even if I am saying I don't get stuck in traffic, I am seeing traffic. Now see, if I want to give my mind this kind of thing, that I get clear road so that I reach on time. Do you get the visual of clear road? A road, there is traffic light, but only limited vehicles are there, 3-4 vehicles are there, and I am feeling quite good that okay, I'll be able to do that. This is what, small things that are taking you one step back. And all the steps that you have taken backwards, I'll be telling you how to move ahead. Basically, this is going to be our journey. This course is not going to be, again telling you, not going to be any kind of motivation, self-help, nothing like that, but you will learn to rewire the subconscious patterns, how to anchor different emotional states. As you told, we face different kind of emotions, but we don't have something concrete to tackle that. Okay, once upon a time there was a crow. It felt very thirsty, saw a jug of water, but water was very low. If he would have sat there and said, water is low, I am very thirsty, I will die thirsty, I will not be able to get that water, will the water come up? No. What did he do? He had pebbles to collect. He picked the pebbles, threw in the jug, water came up, drank the water and flew away. Only if he threw the pebbles into the jug, the water came up. Till now, Thirsty Crow had a different kind of impression, and I think Thirsty Crow is something like a kind of permanent story that our upcoming generations will also study. We have also come studying Pyasa Kaua in Hindi and Thirsty Crow in English. But take the perception of Thirsty Crow to whatever journey that you are going to do. If the crow had not got the pebbles put into the jug, water would not have come up. This is what exactly we are doing with our lives. There is a problem, we are sitting, hi bichari, hi, what can I do? I am helpless. Rather than looking for the pebbles, what we do initially, what triggers pain, suffering, all these things trigger. So what should be the practical approach to all these things? This is what you are going to learn. How you will master the linguistic influence. And I tell you, once you master language, linguistic means language, you will be a very good communicator, you will be a very good presenter, you will be a person to whom your friend circle would love to communicate, love to talk. This is the outcome of simple one thing, which is how you can master your linguistic influence. Okay, and access to the neuroplastic control, which is the brain's ability to reshape itself intentionally. We will be doing this thing intentionally because subconsciously we won't be able to do that, right? So now the journey merges basically into 3 powerful sciences coming together: neuroscience, emotional intelligence, as well as NLP. So you are going to cover the journey, or you are going to walk through all these segments. If one particular thing that I am discussing with you, you will come to know what neuroscience has to say about that, what emotional intelligence has to say about that, and NLP by default has to say about that. Altogether, 24 live transformational sessions would be there, and these are designed, first of all, they will be deconstructing you. We will be deconstructing our mind, and then we will be reconstructing our mind. So how the brain codes the thoughts, emotions, how you form your identity, what are the limiting beliefs that I have in my mind about my identity only. Everything that we are going to discuss one by one, right? I give you some glimpses of what we will be studying. So now there is a segment going to be neural architecture and inner coding. How the brain builds your personality, your fear, your limiting beliefs, your emotional triggers, and how we can rewire them intentionally through the meta neuroprogramming. Synaptic communication loops are there, identity metrics, all these are technical terms. I'll be walking you through all these in detail, but just giving you insights that what all things we would be studying, right? Now, next we will also work on the language perception and reality engineering, which I call as, inner engineering, which is reality engineering. So in terms of quantum linguistics, how one sentence can modify your perception, that traffic wali example, how one sentence can change the perception. Narrative rewiring would also be there. Narrative rewiring is a very, very powerful concept of this curriculum, that is rewriting your personal stories. What are your personal stories? All these things that you have already, experienced in your life. We will be rewriting that. Next comes the conversational hypnosis framework. That is not going to be the hypnotic session. Look at this thing. Now you are going into sleep mode. It's not going to be that only. This is basically how to influence without force, without compulsion, how to be willing for the change. This is called conversational hypnosis framework. This also we will be studying. And because language is not the communication, it is the framework, it is the architecture. So either it can build you or it can destroy you. So therefore this session is going to be very, very crucial. Lastly, a wonderful session that I think maximum people enjoy is NLP meets your charisma. Basically, when NLP meets your personality, when it meets coherence, charisma, so transformation is visible in you, right? So in this there will be, neuro rapid engineering, persuasion genome, all these are the technicalities. Since it is an advanced course, so you will have all these kinds of technical things to know. Even authentic authority as well as the resonance shift is also there. So during all these sessions you will learn that how the leaders, the great communicators, how they change the energy. You might have attended a session, or you might have attended an offline, online, whatever session. Somebody who enters or somebody who takes up the session, you can feel the energy of that person. You feel very good, you feel very positive about that person. It is not magic. This is this only. Okay, the persuasion genome, authentic authority, all these things would be, making you a person. When you enter somewhere, you carry a different energetic framework in terms of your body. Okay, these are not going to be any kind of presentation skills or makeover skills, but these are going to be energetic communication frameworks, right? And in this 29-day of journey, you will have 24 live signature sessions. As you already know, you will also be getting reflective journals every next day of the session to map your inner change journey basically. Neuro labs are also there. These are the micro practices basically, that you will not set up a lab basically. You will install this neuro lab, practical installation of this in your life only. Moreover, there are reflection pods also here for deep processing and practice. Mind gym challenges, I'll be giving you different kinds of drills for your focus, emotion as well as behavior. And right from session number 1 that I'll be telling you a list of 10 different projects. You have a choice. You can pick 1 out of 10, any project that you like. Parallel to what you are learning, you will be working on that one capstone project, right? Followed by certification and professional trainer e-batch. These are the things that you will be getting. Yes, Nirmal ji.
Yeah, hi Jasmine, sorry to interrupt. I have a small doubt. Like here, where you have mentioned, we will be able to take part in a one capstone project. What if somebody like some participants from us would like to do multiple projects? Can we do that?
Yes, you can do all the 10. Depends on your caliber.
Yes.
You can do all the 10 projects only.
No, it will be now, you will be having much more burden for that.
Right, I understood. Yes, if you want to opt for the multiple projects, definitely, most welcome. It would be, a very good experience of discussion for remaining participants. If you want to opt, I will be displaying the list in my next session. So out of the same list will be shared with all of you. So you, okay. you reminded me a very good point. Just keep a notebook and pen from next session onwards, which is going to be topic number 1, because parallelly you are practically working on the project. So taking little notes, little structural or whatever terms you want to note down, these would be helpful for you. Okay, yeah. And answering your question, Nirmalji, yes, definitely you can work on as many projects as you want. Okay, so yes, you will be working on all the projects. I was just joking with Nirmalji. All the 10 projects that we have already worked on. That is why I would be assisting you basically in the projects. So in case you want to go for any multiple projects, we have the projects ready with you. I will be guiding you for every project that you choose, that okay, this is going to be this way, this is going to be this way, and you will be getting the personalized project reports also time to time for whatever projects that you have opted. Okay, we are going to be following this approach. And after these 2 months, you won't just understand, how the mind works, but you will have a complete command over your mind consciously. Once we know to consciously command our mind, then unconscious programming is strengthened by itself, right? And all right, before ending the session, I'll take 5 minutes of your time and we will do a very wonderful mirror practice, which I do in my online and offline sessions, and that's going to be a super effective thing, which is the moment of mirror. Okay, it's kind of guided visualization is going to be there. So nobody is going to judge you, nobody is going to see you, how you are sitting, how you are everything. Do this thing honestly. And what I want you to feel, you will definitely feel. Just your honesty is required, okay? All right. So right now, I don't want you to learn anything, which we will do from next sessions. Just feel. First of all, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Comfortably, do it yourself. Everybody present here, just do that. You can close your eyes, that's an optional, but it would be effective if you simply close your eyes, right? Now I'll be guiding you. First of all, visualize yourself. First of all, visualize yourself not as you are today, but see yourself as a small child. When you were a small child, maybe 5 years, maybe 8 years, maybe little child, the one who used to laugh without any reason. Little child of you, something happens, something serious happens, but you are laughing with joy. Laughing without any reason, running here and there without any fear, and you dream about the things. I will go to stars, I will go to sun, I will do that. Why? No doubt. Just see that innocent face of you only, your innocent face, just see that how it was. Just bring that face in your mind. Now, as the time is passing, you are 10 years of age, slowly 11, 12, you start hearing the voices. Now hear to my voice, keep your eyes closed. See the emotional triggers. Don't dream anything wrong. Don't dream anything that you cannot achieve. Are you a fool? What people are going to say you? You got very less marks. You are totally a stupid child. You are not capable. You are not good enough. Now see how the lines I have spoken, they have planted a small seed of doubt in your childhood you. In your childhood you cannot do it. You are not good enough. All the doubts are there in your mind. Now, as you grew from that childhood to the teenage, there were so many nights you did not sleep. Let your actual emotions come in front of you. So many nights that you did not sleep. So many days that you have cried sitting alone silently. The days you were smiling because people were looking at you, but deep within you, you were in pain. The days that broke you. You kept walking because you have so many responsibilities. You have the weight of expectations, fear is there. I may get rejected. If I were not able to do this, what will happen? If I were not able to complete the expectation of my parents, I will be a bad son. I will be a bad daughter. So now that inner child of you is going away at a distance as you are growing up in your age. You are growing up, and that small child of you is being left behind, going behind, even far away from you. Hold that moment. You are taking steps towards your life. You are taking steps going ahead in your life, but that small child, that small, passionate, happy child leaving back. But today, in this moment, now you are turning back to that child. Just stop. You were going one step towards your life. You were going ahead. Stop there right now. Look back. Now you are walking down the same path where you left that child back. Step by step, you are going towards that child. And that child is happily welcoming you, waiting for you. That is only you. You are going back towards that child. That was you in your childhood only. Now, as you reach close to your inner child, that is you in the childhood, you are standing at 2 feet distance from yourself. One is you now, and one is that child you were when you were in your childhood days. I assume there is a door in between both of you. Assume there is a door between both of you. Now, on one side, that child is the version of you, fearless, limitless, totally limitless. And one side, burden of responsibilities, fear, everything is there. Now, visualize yourself holding the handle of that door, the door between you and your childhood you. Visualize holding the handle of that door. Now you are going to meet your actual happiness. See the emotions inside you, how they are triggering. As you hold the handle, just say to yourself, the now you, I am ready to return home. I am ready to return home. Slowly open the door and see the best version of you. Slowly open the door, see the best version of you. The child that you were standing at 0 distance from you, the same child. See the best version of you were in your childhood. Feel this happiness. Hold the hand of that child. Hold the hand of that child, that is you only. Hold it tightly and walk together. Hold it tightly and start walking together. Now slowly come back to our present moment. Slowly come back to our session. Slowly come back to the present moment. Open your eyes. Slowly open your eyes. How did you feel about your emotions? Reconnecting. Okay. Just wanted to know this one by one. Don't think about childhood. Don't think about anything. Yes, Sheetal, how did you feel?
I relived my moment, that childhood moment, when I was cool, calm, relaxed.
The same childhood moment. Yeah, I tell you, presently what was happening might be you are conscious because camera is on, might be, little consciousness is there. The same kind of exercise you did now, do it before sleeping with same kind of concentration. I assure you, because I have seen people, I assure you, your emotions would come out as tears. The emotions that are stuck inside you the emotions that you have restricted inside you, they are going to come out as tears. Do this thing every day. This is something I wanted to do with you right from starting. For all the next days of life, simply before sleeping, do this kind of 5 minutes of this kind. It's a story, so you would be able to do that and feel the experience with time. Feel the quality of your sleep, and you will also feel the next day when you get up, you are a different person holding a different energy. Okay, so Jaya ji, how was your experience?
Today I met my inner child. I was dancing, felt the breeze, I was following the butterflies.
Yeah. So now, whenever you encounter any situation, when you are sad, whenever you are anxious, anything, just bring that picture of you in your mind, and your 50% problems will not be there. Just bring that child's image. That is you only. I am not saying any fancy child, only you. Or today, whatever notebook that you will keep or diary you will keep, for the upcoming sessions, paste a picture of you, of your childhood picture on the first page of the diary, and you will see the change, how it is going to change everything. I am telling you very honestly, I am not going to give you any rocket science. I will be using you only to change yourself. Okay? Yes, Sheetal.
Today is Children's Day, ma'am.
Oh, happy Children's Day to all of you. Yeah, happy Children's Day. Happy Children's Day to all of you. Yeah. Unmute.
We met our own child.
So I think that's the best thing which we could do today. Yeah, I totally forgot. I don't know how. Yeah, happy Children's Day to all of you. Yeah, Nirmal ji, how was your experience quickly?
It was very beautiful. I could see myself in a very younger age, like say 4 to 5 years. The thing is, the only thing which I felt was I was immensely happy. No worries, nothing. I could sense the limitlessness, and I was really fearless. But gradually, as you said, with time, over passage of time, we have conditioned ourselves.
Yes, restricted ourselves basically.
Yes.
And yes, we are going to come out of that restriction only. I hope it was good, but continue this exercise, okay? And even if in this you want to, whatever kind of music you like to listen, put your earplugs or whatever, then for 5 minutes, a song is only for 5 minutes, a music is only for 5 minutes, listen to that. Do this every day, and after 15 days, you yourself will tell me sleep quality becomes better. You get up as an energetic person, and I will tell you why this happens. This why I will tell you in the session. Start with this practice right from today, right from Children's Day. It's a very good day to start this practice. You have to do it every day before sleep. Okay? Now, before ending the session for today, every session I'll be giving you transformational gift of the day, something extra out of what you are learning. So this is a funda created by me, 4 to 6 of happiness. Every session, ending that session, I'll be giving you one gift of transformation every day. So this is something which is created by me only, the 4 to 6 of happiness, and I am the live proof that it works. I am the live proof, and I hope that once you do this thing, and you will also experience the same. Whenever you are in any chaos situation, whenever you are stressed, whenever you are not neutral or happy, that's it. Be it any different kind of negative emotion, close your eyes, inhale for 4 seconds. Simply inhale for 4 seconds, hold for just 2 seconds. I am feeling tense today, I am feeling stressed, or I told you a very simple thing. If I am not feeling happy, or if I am not feeling normal, neutral today, any other emotion that I am facing, close your eyes, inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 2 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds. Simple. And do this for 1 minute. No matter you are crying, no matter how much tense you are, 4 to 6 of happiness, inhale 4 seconds, hold for 2 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds. do it for 1 minute. The duration should be for only 1 minute whenever you are not feeling good. Notice how the brain is going to slow down and a wave of joy basically flows in the body. Okay, so this is something transformational gift of the day for all of you, and we will be unveiling such gifts also every day along with 24 sessions. Okay, all right, so this was our journey of today, and our actual journey is going to kick start from our next session. So therefore now all these 2 months, they are going to be scientifically structured of inner rewiring that you will do for yourself. And most welcome to all the participants in our upcoming journey. We are going to start from Wednesday, and we will be starting the first topic of our course, right?